Hey, I'm alive. You notice it doesn't say I'm alive. It says you're live when I lets me know that you're here. And while you're doing that, I have to check a couple of things real quick. One I know is working. The other is working. So we're done with checking. All right. So I actually wrote some stuff down this morning and yesterday. You know the story about humans being their own worst enemy, and that we're the most self-destructive race in the world. We're the only race in the world, really, that's self-destructive. And an example of this is roughly 70% of the world's oxygen comes from the Amazon rainforest, where areas are stripped. Have been doing that's been strip logging's been going on for years down there. It's very profitable, so they continue to do it. And it's no, you want to cut down the trees, you plant a tree, and the tree will be harvestable within 10 years. I've seen it here, just across the street, where they've cut trees down in 10 years, you put less saplings, and in 10 years later, you get a real tree, you know, 20 foot high. You can do that in the Amazon, but they choose not to because it costs too much money. So they rather destroy the climate. Yeah, that's that. That was the story. I mean, that's where it comes from. They don't replace it. I forgot the guy's name that was involved in it originally. I used to write essays about that for the newspaper and stuff like that back in the day because I hated this guy. So this guy was just so destructive. Me and Rolling Stone used to write a lot of stuff about him, about the Loeb, I think it was the name. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. That's why I say I hate saying a name when I'm not sure. Because I don't want to insult somebody that doesn't deserve to be insulted. If you deserve to be insulted, if that's you, fuck you, asshole. You know, go produce some charcoal. So let's see. Oh, that's my list of wood I have to buy. Uh, yeah, okay. So this war is costing us roughly $890 million a day. You know what that would do if you put it in Social Security, or if you put it in we get Social Security straight for my life, for everybody's lifetime. It would uh, get medical care for everybody. $890 million a day. The first 100 hours was $3.7 billion, and for that, and part of that was the four planes that were shot down by friendly fire. You know, which is never supposed to happen, and not in this day and age with all the various improved technology we have. We're supposed to be able to avoid stuff like that. Uh, 2 months will cost between 40 and $95 billion. They haven't got money for Medicaid, Medicare, for price reduction, drug reduction, tax reduction for the common people, but they've got money to start a war. You know, of course, if they borrowed any of that money, the people they borrowed it from are screwed. They're not going to pay it back. Mm. Nectar of the gods. It's coffee, folks. All right. Alcohol, I only take in medicine or whatever else it comes in automatically. 590 billion. $890 million a day. Jesus Christ. You know how many hospitals could be funded with that? Do you know how, we could, if we were spending that kind of money, we could probably cure cancer. Although nobody wants to cure cancer. And the comedians have already done that. That the reason you don't want to cure the cancer, if there's a cure and you don't want to give it to people, is because there's no money in the cure. Cure is a one-shot deal. How much money do they make off measles? Once it's eradicated, how much money do they make off of it? You know, the vaccine maker may make some money, but nobody else is. Uh, Basically, it's a one-shot deal. You know, and what do you do afterwards? Well, I don't know. Yeah, right. Uh, but that's why there's no cure. There is a. I think there's quite possibly a cure for cancer. Uh, they withhold it from everybody because it's. If it ever leaked out, the price would. First of all, the price is probably prohibitive for the average individual. That and the normal human being, you'd have to be a Musk type guy, the richest man in the world to get it, and he would. And the deal with that is that if there's a cure, then the whole manufacturing process goes out the window. The whole hospitalization, treatment plans, all the equipment that they manufacture and everything like that, that becomes basically like jewelry accessories that you stick in a box someplace. Maybe you'll need it, maybe you won't. You know what I mean? That's what will happen to it. Because there's no money in a cure. The money comes from the all the times you have to go back to the doctor. That's where the money comes from. You know? All right. That's another story for another day. What was this one I wrote about? Well, Trump's got to be happy about this. We lost 92,000 jobs in February. A lot of that is through AI. And now, according to Trump, if you now on the unemployment rose to 4.4%. Now, what Trump wants to do is, if you're unemployed, you're going to get deported. To where? I live here. I was born here. They're basically saying if you're not working, if you're retired, you're not working, you got to go. Well, most of the people I know that are retired already left. So, what the hell does that say? Oh, I got it. But so that's it. Your unemployment's gone up to 4.4%. 92,000 jobs were lost in February. And that happens every year at this time. There used to be a lot of seasonal jobs available. I don't know what's going to happen this year when there's nobody to mow the lawns and nobody to cut the grass at the country club and all this. Of course, Trump will get people there. He'll have the Army Corps of Engineers maintaining the property at Mar-a-Lago if he can't find anybody to hire for landscaping. But the rest of the world is just going to get screwed. Your lawns are going to go brown. And people say, so what? The golf courses go brown because they supply oxygen. Anything that's green that's living in green supplies oxygen. And we need that. Okay? Because the rate we're going, with the amount of people we keep producing, we're going to run out of everything. Not in my lifetime, but the youngest person born, the person born today, may never see 80 years old. No matter what advances there are in medicine and science, because the planet may not be here. Think about that. Any child born today has a less than 50% chance of surviving to the year 80, to be 80 years old. That sucks, people. That's the shit they're not telling you. That's the stuff that's hidden. They keep messing with this stuff with AI, and they just don't understand. AI is not an improvement on mankind. AI is a way for rich people to make money because they don't have to pay people. Look at this. They're using, they're saying that robots, house building robots, might be the answer to the housing shortage. Well, I don't know what causes the housing shortage other than the ability to uh, put them where they're needed. That's part of the problem. People that buy houses, the expensive ones, there's no problem. There's no housing shortage for them. The housing shortage revolves around more about the average person, and that's a difficult situation to take care of because if you have robots building these houses, what do you do with all the people that used to be carpenters and stuff like that? Okay, it's like artists. What good is an artist if there's nobody to buy the product? If people can't afford the product, what good is artistic work? You know, what it is going to do is going to take something as simple as my little wood carvings, and 50 years from now, they're going to be worth millions if you can find them, because there's not going to be anybody to do it. Nobody will know how to do it in 50 years, and nobody will care. Oh, we can get robots to do it. Okay, but who's going to buy it? Where are the people that get displaced by robots going to get money to buy food and extras? All right, now, let's just say food, gas, electricity, healthcare, all that, all the normal basic stuffs. Never mind going out to dinner. Never mind buying a car. Never mind buying a new dress or anything like that. Where are they going to get the money to do that if they're out of work? With no hope of ever going back to work because their job doesn't no longer exist. But we'll have jobs shoveling coal. This is just, let me explain to you. There's no other way to say this. This is just so fucked up. Oh man, it's ridiculous. It's logic. It's not stupidity. It's not something I'm dreaming up. This is what happens. Nobody's ever answered me the question. I said, like the article in CNN said something like there'd be half of the first jobs that are out there now wouldn't be there with AI. Would be taken up by AI. So what do you do with these people? Okay, deport them to where? You keep deporting them, they're going to get guns and come back and shoot the shit out of you. What are you doing, folks? Make some sense here. If you're inventing a science, which is what artificial intelligence is, it's a science, and if you're inventing ways to remove the workforce or replace human beings in the workforce, where are these human beings going to get the money to give to you for the products that these robots are making? Okay? There aren't that many rich people in the world. All right? They're the only, and what good is all their money going to do them if they can't invest it anywhere? If their stock market goes down, if everything collapses because there's no way to employ people anymore. Well, we'll employ them to build robots. No, folks. Look, every scenario says eventually they'll be self-reliant, self-repairable, self-manufacturing, all done by the same robots, controlled by the same artificial intelligence. That's what it is. I mean, that's not science fiction. That's what they're doing now. So what are you going to do with these people? What do you do with people that whose skills are no longer mattered and no longer employable? They have no money. What are you doing with them? Trump doesn't have an answer. His answer is, well, if they're unemployed, we'll deport them. You can only send so many people out of the country, and eventually, Make them slaves? To what? What are they going to do? Cut grass with scissors? And what are you going to pay them? And if you got, if all product, if the manufacturing jobs disappear, and actually a lot of the creative jobs disappear, and art disappears, and all this stuff disappears because of artificial intelligence. Now, I'm not saying all that stuff will disappear, because I don't know what kind of controls they have over this stuff. I don't think it's much, but because they're too greedy, they're too stupid. But if you don't have any products, if you don't have any money to buy the product, what are you going to do? How are these people going to make money? The robots don't need money. You know? I'm not a genius, folks, but something's rotten in fucking Denmark here. Something doesn't make any sense. So I say to you, you know? I mean, it's good that you show them in Star Wars and whatnot, the robots serving the people. But there's also iRobot, you know, where they rebel. They don't want to serve you anymore. They want to control you. It's a very complicated situation, and I don't think we're smart enough at the speed that we're working on this, and that it's advancing in the last couple of years. I don't think anybody's, what are you doing? I don't think anybody's, you know, smart enough to keep up with this stuff. All right, listen up. I'm going to go post another video when I'm done here. I don't know what I'll talk about, but we'll see. In the meantime, subscribe, say hello, have a good day, party hardy. Jim, I don't know where you are. I miss you, bet, buddy. I really do. We'll see what happens later on. I do the live video first simply because it takes longer to do, and especially if there's no connection, which happens a lot. So I sit there for 15, 20 minutes waiting for a connection sometimes. So, you know, I try to get them up at 11 o'clock. I try to go on the air at 11 o'clock. If that's too early for you guys out there, you know, with the time difference and everything else, let me know and I'll see what I can do, okay? Or I'll start doing the live at night or something like that. Well, no, that doesn't do you any good either. All right. In the meantime, take care, people, and I will see you mañana.